Right, we are back with another epic resin art. We call it an experiment because we don't know what's going to happen. So many of you tuned into my previous video where we used the Urea to create some incredible, I still need to top coat this, I haven't had time, some incredible effects on our resin. I mean, look at that 3D structure, it's absolutely crazy. So today we are going to be trying it on jewelry. Many of you have, again, seen me use this stuff before. It's not the same as this solution that we made in the previous video. The recipe for that is in the video, so if you haven't checked that out, go and watch it. It's not the same as this. It creates very, very different crystal structures and formations. So in this video, I'm going to try two different ways. I'm going to try it the same way that we did this with the black spray paint and then finish it off with maybe some nail powders. And we're also going to try keeping the crystals in the resin. So we're going to seal them in, and I'm also probably going to dust those with a nail powder also. So yeah, let's get started. So for this one, we are using the Resin Rockers Clear Hard UV resin. It will work with epoxy. I was chatting to one of our viewers this morning. He creates some incredible pieces using epoxy, but as far as I can work out, he explained in a message that he kind of lets the resin, the epoxy, firm up a bit. I need to go into this because I might try what he's done. He lets his epoxy set for a little while and then introduces the solution, and it kind of embeds and imprints into the epoxy. We'll try that another day, I think, but I wanted to see if I could get a different effect to when I've used the Vallejo for this video. Okay, so I'm going to go with two pendants. One we're going to do the spray paint with, and one we're going to encapsulate the crystals inside the resin. So you will see there I've poured the resin very flush, well, bang on pretty much with the mold. This will ensure when we apply the solution that it doesn't all run into the middle, so we get an even coverage. So I'm just going to cure that under the beast. Okay, they have had 90 seconds. Just a quick one. I want to hear from those who have gone out and bought the Magic Cure, whether it's in the bundle, the Daniel Cooper Resin Rockers bundle, or just on its own. In the comments, just let me know what you're thinking of the machine. And to address a few comments I've had on the post where I've kind of been promoting the bundle, some people have said it's expensive. I mean, I'm not telling you have to go out and buy this stuff. It's just a suggestion. It's an idea. It's there if you want it. I know it's an expensive bit of kit, especially the lamp, but you know, we're talking easily the best planet on the lamp. The best UV lamp on the planet. I mean, it's got a 50,000 hour life on the UV bulbs. I mean, that alone is, I think, something like 5 years continuous use. Most of these lamps that you get, the really cheap ones, I mean, they are cheap and they do the job for a limited amount of time because they use up all their UV power very, very quickly. I mean, you could be looking at 6 months. Depends on the brand. But for something that gives you 5 years of lamp life, and variable wattage, I mean, it's just, this thing has really, really transformed the way that I do my UV resin art. Again, I'm not telling you have to go out and buy this stuff, but I do want to hear from those who have in the comments what you think so far of the Magic Cure. So I am going to let these cool down completely because I know from experience with the Vallejo, let me move my mask, it's riding up my face again. I know from experience with the Vallejo, when you apply it on warm or hot resin, it crystallizes very, very differently. So when I did the previous experiment, I put one of the coasters in the sun and the crystal started to grow upwards, and that's due to the heat. So I'm going to let these cool down so that the crystals grow on the surface only and not upwards, if that makes sense. Right, now those are cooled down, I'm going to use the sandpaper and just sand the backs all over so they're matte. We know from the previous video that the solution beads up. Now, I never did this when I did the Vallejo. I never sanded it. and I think I might have to try, because it makes sense. Maybe I've been using the Vallejo wrong. So this will ensure that the solution stays over the whole back and doesn't pull in to the center. Even though it's flat and it's level, it will still want to pull in. So I'm going to sand both. So I'm just making sure now they're both sanded. I'm just making sure they're both as level as can be on my mold. Then I'm just going to spray some of my solution into a separate cup so that I'm not spraying everything, or it's all running down the sides of the heart cabochons. Then just using the end of my paintbrush, I'm going to cover both of the backs. Not too much, but just enough so that we can grow some decent crystals. And then what I do, again, I'll whack it in hyperlapse so we can see them growing. Love a good hyperlapse of this. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to all my subs. So that was over the space of about 30 minutes. It's pretty incredible. I mean, if you was to line loads of these up and just batch make them, it's so worth it. Look at the structures on this one here. So again, I'm just going to pop these in the sun for probably about 15-20 minutes just to make sure they're 100% dry. Right, they are now fully dry. Any bits like this that are sticking up, you can just take them off the edges. Now to pick one that I'm going to dust, which will be this one, and then the spray paint version will be this one. Again, I'm just using the matte black that I've already got. Just a very, very light spray. So that is it from the front. You can see just how light a spray that was. Now to just let that fully dry. So for the other one, I'm going in with my nail powder, and I'm just going to brush this all over, hoping it will show through. It normally does with the Vallejo, but I'm not sure about this. Hopefully we'll still be able to see some of that structure from that crystal formation. It really is crazy the way it looks like it's overlapping as well. Just going to give that a thorough coat, and then I think I'm just going to back it with black resin. So that goes back on my mold, and then just my usual, you already know by now, most of you, it's just a small amount of black mica powder in my UV resin, and I'm making a mess of my brand new mold. I'm just going to cover the whole back and then give that a couple of minutes under my lamp. And you can see just how much of a thin amount or small amount of black mica is in there, because you can see through it. I am going to give this 2 coats just to really darken it up and make those colours hopefully pop. So that one has had 2 coats. I'm going to be very good. I'm not going to look at the front of this until we see it together. Now for this one, what I think I'm going to have to do, once I've cleaned the crystals off, I don't think the powder's going to stick to the fully cured resin. It's different with the other one because there's lots of kind of crystals for it to cling on to. But with this one, I might have to give it a very, very thin layer of UV resin and give it a flash cure. Just hoping the paint doesn't all come off. Just give it a very gentle wash. Hopefully we'll Oh, nearly dropped it. Hopefully we'll keep some of those lines. As long as some of the crystal lines are there, I'll be happy. I don't really want to sand this one. I'm not going to. I'm just going to wipe off any excess. Doesn't matter if there's big areas. Hopefully the powders will come through and finish that off really nicely. I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping for something like this, but it hasn't done it on this occasion. But I'm just gonna carry on. Just gonna carry on. You never know. It may look okay. Just these areas. There's only a few lines really. Okay. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, very, very thin coat UV resin, flash cure it for about 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then that will be sticky still, enough for me to dust before backing. And because we're going to be backing this with a black after the now powders, it doesn't really matter if the spray paint hasn't degassed, because we're going to be, even if it's got a bad finish, we're going to be covering it again with another layer of resin. So for this one, I'm going to go with this, it's like a greeny colour nail powder. Sorry for the wobble. You can see that that's sticking really, really nicely now. A bit too much powder, Dan. Really didn't need that much. And again, I'm just going to coat that with the same black that I've already got. Okay, we're good to go. Both had 2 coats. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit that button for me. Actually, what I might do is, because I haven't seen them yet, I didn't want to make any more of any different colours. So if they've worked, what I'll quickly do is make some others with some different colours. Colours? Oh guys, again, it's one of those days. Yeah, I'm going to make a couple more with different colours just to show you. Right, I can't remember which one's which. I can see now. This is the one that we wiped away. We'll do this one first. This is the one we wiped the crystals away. Let me just clean off that excess powder. There we go. So I'm now thinking different coloured spray paints instead of black, maybe gold. But that is really, really nice. See that really light green coming through with the flash? And then it goes into the almost blue. And then into a purple. That is stunning. It looks a little bit messy, but I just think what do I say? It doesn't look that bad. It looks good. Oh, help me someone, please. Help me. Yeah, I'd like to have seen some more structured lines like the coaster in the previous video. But I also like that kind of tattiness to it, because it's all taken away anyway, and by the colour. It's like it's supposed to be. Oh, that is gorgeous. Right. This is the one that I'm hoping is just going to be an absolute stunner. Is it covered also? Yes, of course it is. Let's try and give it a wipe before we flip it. Right. Fingers crossed. Oh my God. Sorry for that word, but that is incredible. Again, I've got some powder. Now, I don't know what to say. We've lost some of the detail in the crystals. But could that be the colour we used? I don't know. But again, it just works. It looks like a crystal, and those whiter areas of the shards coming out are just a very different effect to the Vallejo. Right, I'm going to do a couple more in different colours. Look at that. Right, I'll be back soon. Right, okay, so I tried one with a white, and it's not too bad, but you can see those patches. I mean, it looks natural. It looks like it should be there. That's like trapped air underneath the crystals. But it doesn't look too bad. It's got a really nice flash. Again, I just mix things up with different nail powders. Different colours. I'm not overly fond of it, but it worked. I tried a different one because I thought I could go with a Labradorite. Labradorite. Oh, forgive me. I've already explained. But the gold just wasn't right. But look at the structures. You can really see them. This was with the blue nail powder. I almost lifted the thing up without the lid on then. With a little bit of the gold. But you can really see those lines with that colour. So I think it's going to depend on the colours that are used. I tried a gold, which looks really nice. Really, really stunning. Again, you can see those shards a bit better in there. This one I think is my favourite. It is absolutely incredible. With this one, I sanded the front down and just gave it a top coat, like a very thin glaze coat. But the structures are really, really visible. Again, that was with the blue. Absolutely incredible. Never seen resin art like it. But imagine that in a coaster. I mean, that's definitely better than this, I think. It's just something so different. And then, because I wasn't overly happy with that one, I tried again. And it did peel away some of it, but I think the crystal formation was just really wide again down there. But I went in with a different colour, and you can see those lines much, much better in this one. Again, I sanded this and top coated it, but I was a little bit impatient, so I need to buff out some of those scratching marks. So there you go. I mean, I think this one is still my favourite though, the one that we've just done. And this one. That's just something else. I think I need to do this on a coaster. Right, enough anyway. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Right, hope you enjoyed that one. See you for the next one. Bye for now.